Hello, hello, luminaries. How has this Mercury retrograde been treating you so far? I know at least for me personally, maybe I shouldn't jinx it. I was gonna say, like, knock on wood, nothing yet has totally glitched except my energy is just so low. I feel like work has really just been piling up, and there's like a million things to do that I just can't seem to catch up on. And Jeff and I are still pushing away. And of course, this is really draining us. So maybe it's time for me to take my own Mercury retrograde medicine. Welcome to the Savvy Luminary Podcast, Astrology for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Leslie Tagorda, creator of the Astrobrand Method, business astrologer, brand designer, author, and Aquarius boss woman. I help visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and impact makers like you illuminate and amplify your unique star powers so you can be the luminary you were born to be. I love understanding all of the cosmic transits that we are all feeling. When I put together this business StarCast report, this is so that you can understand the energies that we all get to play with. Remember, these are collective cosmic energies available to us all, and there's nothing to be fearful of. Even if there's something like a challenging retrograde or a square that you might be feeling, because instead of looking at a transit as being challenging or hard, we get curious with how do we get to use this energy in our lives, in our businesses, instead of working against them. So, as you're about to listen to the cosmic notes of this upcoming week, I urge you to get curious about what you need to learn and how you get to work with this energy in your businesses. For those outer planets with those larger shifts, those outer planets that move slowly, you may feel this energy leading up to a few days, even weeks, and leading away from. And of course, if you're going to personalize these energies with conjunctions and meetings where I'm giving you specific degrees and activations, find out where that degree lives in your own natal chart. The astrological house that contains that degree is going to give you insight as to where in your life and your business you're going to have the most impact. And if you have any natal energies that are also being activated by any of these cosmic energies, that's going to give you more insight as to what's coming up for you in your own business. All right, let's dive into the business StarCast for this upcoming week. So the second week of June isn't terribly exciting astrologically. Well, I'm going to take that back. The beginning of the week, we don't really have much going on, just a few moon transits. So some moodiness if you have anything that's squaring off or affecting your own natal chart. And it's towards the end of the week where all of the action happens. So do your best to get as much as you can get done earlier in the week, because towards the end of the week, I highly suggest you making enough space to reflect with our, not only do we have our midway point of our Mercury retrograde where the sun and Mercury meet up in the sky, it's also on the day of our Gemini solar eclipse. Oh my goodness. Yes. We have a solar eclipse, both of those on the 10th. And the very next day, we're going to have Mars moving out of Cancer and into Leo. So this is kind of some big shakeups. So today's episode, I want to make things really short and sweet. We're going to dive into the energy of the new moon and how to work with this eclipse, right? Because the question is always like, do I do a ritual this time? Do I not do the ritual? And so I'm going to give you some questions so that you can decide for you what feels best for you, because ultimately that's what's important. And then we're going to take a look a little bit at Mars going into Leo, and how that's going to affect the next few weeks coming up. So stay tuned. So before I dive into all of the details for this upcoming new moon and Mars in Leo, I wanted to just thank a few people so much, because I know that Apple does not make it easy to leave a review. And just the other day, Jeff and I were popping on to our podcast on Apple iTunes, and we realized we have a few reviews there. And it just brings me so much joy to read these reviews, because I know that it takes a lot of effort to go there and leave a review to share your thoughts. Again, Apple doesn't make it easy. So first of all, I wanted to shout out to Serena, and she left a beautiful review on Apple iTunes. And she says, I love listening to this podcast for the practical application of astrology in my business. Helps me to take advantage of all the energies of the day. Thank you, Serena. I know that you have worked really hard at adding that review. So I just wanted to show my appreciation to you. And if you happen to want to leave a review on Apple iTunes, if you bring up a recent episode, if you tap the three dots at the very bottom of the screen and go to the link that says go to show, and then you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom past all of those episodes, then you'll see the place to add your rating and review. If you'd be so kind, if you enjoy this podcast, please go for it. Leave a rating and review, or even better, share this on social media or with your business bestie. Okay, so let's get into the astrology of the week. Our astrology of the week, of course, we are still in the middle of our Mercury retrograde. How exciting. Right now in the sky, Mercury and Saturn and Pluto are going backwards. And so we're rethinking our truth. Yes, that's what I've been talking about, all about this Mercury retrograde. We've been thinking about the social structures and the systems that we've built our lives and businesses on. That's Saturn. We've been rethinking how we need to restructure things. And then, of course, there's Pluto going backwards, which is a much more subtle effect, but we've been really rethinking how we need to transform in a sustainable way. And so with these three planets as kind of the backdrop for this week, the first big day that we have next week is Thursday, June 10th, and it is a big day of rethinking your truth to jump into your highest potential with our annular, not annual, but annular partial eclipse, and Mercury joining the sun shortly after the new moon as a combust. That's that full moon phase between Mercury and the sun. And so this day feels like this quantum leap in understanding, perspective, and what is possible when you speak your truth. I think that's part of the reason why I feel so drained right now, is because I haven't been making that space to feel into and rethink things. I'm still pretty much operating like Mercury isn't going retrograde, and therefore it is really draining my energy. I don't know how it is for you. So this is not the day on June 10th to take action or to try to control or exert your power. This is the day to be open to the floods of clarity and go with the flow of new information coming to you. Feel into your heart and body to discern what is true for you while being open to all possibilities. And so the big question that I'd like you to ponder is, what reframe do you now understand so that you can clearly communicate the voice of your soul and your brand? This is really the theme that we're working towards getting clarity on as we go through Gemini season. So the new moon solar eclipse happens at exactly 3:53 a.m. Pacific, 6:53 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, June 10th. And this is happening right at Gemini of 19 degrees. And the theme of this day, or the question that you're really wanting to ask yourself, is what jump in communications and understanding your truth is happening to you? This solar eclipse is an annular eclipse, not an annual eclipse, an annular eclipse where the moon will be in front of the sun, but you'll still be able to see some of the sun's edges as a bright ring around the moon. And there's quite a number of us living on planet Earth that will be able to see this event on June 10th. If you happen to live in the upper reaches in the northern hemisphere, according to the internet, the path of totality will stretch from the northern shores of Lake Superior up through Canada and Greenland, across the North Pole, and ending in Russia. And so there's quite a number of us in that northern hemisphere who will be able to see this beautiful event. And so how do you know if you want to do a new moon ritual? Because you'll hear a lot of astrologers saying that never do a new moon ritual on an eclipse. And then there's other astrologers that say, never do a ritual during enjoying a south node eclipse. Well, this new moon is happening near the north node. The moon and the sun will be at 19 degrees of Gemini, and it'll be 9 degrees away from the north node. And when I look at this chart, my sense is that we need to do two things. So similarly to a full moon where we release and we let go, is that we are finally like releasing and letting go of all of the things that prevent us from having a powerful voice or preventing us from thinking that our voice matters. And so in order to grab on to a new truth, to plant a new truth, we have to let something go. And so when we're thinking about some of these shadows that we want to let go of, some of the questions that I'll be asking in my new moon ceremony coming up really focus on some of these kind of Gemini shadows, feeling like where have you felt your voice doesn't matter, or where have you felt misunderstood or felt unheard? Maybe you felt angry or hurt, but then left things unsaid, or maybe you felt like felt that you've been accused of saying too much, or maybe you were attacked for speaking up. Where have you not felt enough because of your unique perspective? I know that at some point in time, every one of us has felt this kind of Gemini shadow. And maybe if you've been standing up more lately and expressing your voice of what you believe to be true, maybe you've really been on that other end of the stick where somebody's telling you to not share a story. So with this new moon solar eclipse, really get curious with what shadows are coming up for you. I know it hasn't always been safe to speak up. Trust me, I know how ironic that is that I teach people how to speak up and share their voice while I'm still learning how to share my authentic voice and to speak up for what is true. And sometimes it just really takes this trust and this vulnerability and having the courage and the strength of standing up for what you know is to be true and standing up for your voice, even when others disagree with you. So if you're dealing with a lot of shadows, I encourage you to use this new moon solar eclipse. Finally decide that you are done with thinking that your voice doesn't matter. Letting go of the stories that you don't have a powerful message or that you are not understood. Be sure to integrate that in any new moon ceremony that you do for this eclipse so that you can really also make space so that you can plant the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear communications and engaging dialogue through your business. The ruler of Gemini, which is Mercury, is also at the halfway point of this second retrograde of 2021. And we have this solar eclipse. So you might be feeling on that day an overload of information. While you may not be able to find the exact words or get clear on your exact thoughts, if you go one level below those thoughts, you do know how you want your message to be heard. You do know why you want your brand voice to be heard, and you do know the impact you want your message to have in your circles. I give you permission to not be super clear right now. If you need to draw things or doodle things or sing things or poet things, whatever it takes to bring out your ideas, even if it might not be exactly clear, permission to do so, because as you go on through this Mercury retrograde and after Mercury retrograde finishes, you're going to get clear about that energy, how you want to express it. So yes, it is a powerful new moon eclipse with all these other cosmic energies to support you to rethink your brand voice and all that means. Decide today on the impact you want your message and brand voice to have and what you want to be known for in your spiritual business. rethink what is possible. The astrology of this new moon solar eclipse, we of course have our north node very close, 9 degrees to our sun and our moon. And then our Mercury retrograde is just 1 degree away from the new moon at that time of the new moon. And so we have this really tight conjunction between the north node, we have the sun, of course, and the moon, as well as Mercury. Later on in the day, the sun will be meeting up Mercury for our combust. So, on the other side of the chart, we have Jupiter still in Pisces, and it's at its farthest point that it's going to go during this trip into Pisces at 2 degrees, because later on next week, Jupiter will be joining the retrograde train and going backwards. So really enjoy this time while Jupiter is in its home sign of Pisces. This is really enabling the new moon combust to not feel, it's giving a little bit of lightness. Thank goodness, a little bit of fun. So if you need to take a break or clear your mind, using kind of the Jupiter and Pisces energies to help you, maybe taking a warm bath before you do your ritual or after you do your ritual, playing with water somehow will really add to the lightness. And then Neptune, that subtle, imaginative, visionary energy is also scoring off with the new moon at that time, adding more, you could say disillusionment, but I like to say more magic and mystery and mystique to what's going on. So if you can allow for this cloudiness, to explore in this cloudiness, allowing spirit to guide you for this inner integration of all the things that are happening during this new moon solar eclipse, you will be a happy camper. Before I dive into the house activations for your business with this eclipse, I wanted to remind you that I am hosting our Gemini new moon ceremony with the amazing Dr. Sweta Chawla. After this new moon ceremony, I'll be taking a little bit of a break, so we won't have a new moon ceremony in July. So if you want to catch us for the summer, this will be your opportunity. Sweta is going to be starting our ceremony with an amazing visualization where she is going to connect us to our heart. And what this means is that this exercise that she's taking us through is going to give us this non-linear connection to our soul so that we can receive messages that we couldn't really otherwise approach if we were just using logic. And so she's going to give us permission to use art, to use our emotions, to be able to communicate authentically and find our big message. We'll be talking all about Gemini, all about finding our brand voice. So if you want to join us for that new moon ceremony in Gemini, we'll be hosting that on Friday, June 11th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. So you can sign up at thesavvyluminary.com/new moon to join us for this amazing new moon ceremony so we can set our intentions in a circle, find out all the things that block us from our voice, and reconnect to our heart so that we can really speak our truth. It's pay what you can. You get admission to the ceremony plus the replay and all of the worksheets. And if you pay $47 or more, you'll get a mini new moon reading from me. Head over to thesavvyluminary.com/new moon. Okay, so let's get into the house activations for this new moon in Gemini solar eclipse. So again, remember that if you choose to do a new moon ritual, you want to get really curious with yourself if there is some release that needs to happen first. Thinking about those shadow questions that I asked earlier about shadow Gemini, any instances that need to let go where you feel that your voice doesn't matter. And if you feel so called to also plant the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear voice and engaging dialogue in your business, well, here's what's coming for you. So take a look at your natal chart and find the house that contains Gemini of 19 degrees, because it's this house that will be activated for your new moon eclipse. If you have a Gemini rising or you have 19 degrees of Gemini in your first house. You are planting the seeds to redefine your powerful brand voice by leading your brand with sharing your big message. Yes, you have a big message to share. How will you share that? If you are a Taurus rising or have your Gemini of 19 degrees in the second house, you are here to plant the seeds to redefine your powerful brand voice through your business's shared values focused on wealth building messaging. If you're an Aries rising or have 19 degrees of Gemini in your third house, today you are planting the seeds of your powerful brand voice through your business's witty stories and leadership teachings. If you're a Pisces rising or you have 19 degrees of Gemini in your fourth house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful brand voice through your business's ability to speak up and hold space for emotional nurturing. If you're an Aquarius rising or you have your Gemini of 19 degrees in the fifth house, today you're planting the seeds for your powerful, clear communications through your business's fun, creative writing and communication style. If you have a Capricorn rising or have 19 degrees of Gemini in the sixth house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful brand voice, clear communications through your business's daily communications and operation systems that serve others. If you're a Sagittarius rising and have Gemini of 19 degrees in the seventh house, today you are planting the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear communications and engaging dialogue through your business's collaborative partnerships over shared ideas. If you're Scorpio rising or you have 19 degrees of Gemini in the eighth house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear communications and brand voice through your business's powerful and transparent fine print. Yes, so make sure you have all of your guidelines, your terms and conditions, all of those fine print things, all have a looking through. That's going to protect you. If you have a Libra rising or you have Gemini of 19 degrees in the ninth house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful brand voice and engaging dialogue through your business's global reach, through your expansive vision and shared beliefs. You have a wonderful global network. If you're Virgo rising or you have Gemini of 19 degrees in the 10th house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear communications and engaging dialogue through your business's professional speaking and thought leadership. Yes. If you're a Leo rising or you have Gemini of 19 degrees in the 11th house, today you're planting your seeds of redefining your powerful brand voice through your business's greater community and platform of shared impact. Whew, that's a big one. And if you're a Cancer rising or you have Gemini of 19 degrees in the 12th house, today you're planting the seeds to redefine your powerful, clear communications and engaging dialogue through your business's imaginative, nonverbal communications and language in flow. Lots of ease and grace for you there. So if you're interested again in joining us for the new moon ceremony, joining me and Sweta, Dr. Sweta Chawla, please head over to thesavvyluminary.com/new moon and sign up and join us so you can redefine your powerful brand voice. So let's now talk about the Sun and Mercury meeting later on that day on June 10th at exactly 6:13 p.m. Pacific, 9:13 p.m. Eastern. And this is happening at 20 degrees of Gemini. So the sun will have moved on just a little bit. This meeting, also called the combust, is the halfway point between Mercury and the sun, where the theme of this energy, it's kind of hard to untangle it from the new moon solar eclipse, but this energy is specifically about thinking and information ignition. So how can you make space to take in all of this new understanding to reflect without yet making a decision. This is the midpoint, just like the full moon phase of the cycle where Mercury and the sun meet. You may feel a surge of information as your learnings become illuminated. Things can feel intense. It is time to reflect. After this meeting, this combust, you're going to have a clearer understanding of what needs to be integrated into your business after your rethinking, your retruth, re-examination. All of the fun today is happening right around that 19-20 degree mark of Gemini. So if you have any planets near there, planets or angles near there, expect to feel this on a really intimate level. If you have any air sign energies, air energies around there, like Aquarius and Libra near this 19-degree mark, these energies are going to be in flow with your perception. And if you have any mutable energies, Sagittarius, Virgo, or Pisces near this 19-degree mark, this is going to add more creative fuel that will ignite your truth. So again, this is our halfway point. You're looking to see what is now fully illuminated that you're probably overthinking, or what is now that is fully illuminated that is rethinking your truth. What new truth is really here for you? We have 12 more days until Mercury steps on the brakes and moves forward again. Okay, on Friday, June 11th at exactly 6:34 a.m. Pacific, 9:34 a.m. Eastern, Mars enters Leo, where the theme for this is lead with your heart. What passionate, heart-led projects now drive you? Now through July 29th, Mars will heat things up in passionate Leo. At this time, you could stand up for your creative efforts and justify your passion projects. It's from this passion that is the source of your purpose. After all, if work is fun and pleasurable, it transcends vocation to calling. Follow your bliss in all that you do and watch your work come to life as purpose. If you have natal energies or angles in Leo, you're going to be getting a boost of motivation and drive as Mars passes through. Now, remember, Mars unchecked sometimes he wants to go too fast, can show itself as frustration and inflammation and stress. So if you start to feel any of those energies, take your foot off the gas, let things come through, and use the Leo energy of joy and creativity to fire you up again. You're going to really feel this energy of Mars, particularly if you have fixed energies like Leo and Aquarius, Taurus and Scorpio, because Mars will be squaring off if you have a lot of energy in those fixed signs. And if you have fiery energies like lots of Aries or Sagittarius, this boost is going to feel really supportive. So that's all I have for the week of June 6th through June 12th. It's a big week, yet we only have really 2 days of really active transits in the middle of this Mercury retrograde. Again, I invite you to join us for our new moon in Gemini solar eclipse ceremony on Friday, June 11th, where Dr. Sweta Chawla and I will be sharing with you how to find your powerful brand voice. So head over to thesavvyluminary.com/new moon to sign up. On Wednesday's episode, I'll be talking all about the Gemini archetype. So I'll be going a little bit deeper into all things Gemini. What does Gemini mean? That power that you need in your brand to speak up, to understand, and to engage in dialogue. Beautiful. All right. Until then, talk to you soon, luminaries. The greatest thing that you could do to me to pass things forward is to head over to Apple iTunes and leave a rating and review for this podcast. Let others know what you think, and each rating and review helps this podcast be more visible to listeners like you.